Okay. It is exactly 5:35 p.m. The date is 6/19. I call this meeting of the El Cachos Independent School District to order. See here. Due to the health and safety concerns related to the COVID-19 coronavirus, this meeting will be conducted by video conference or by telephone call. At least a quorum of the board will be participating by video conference call in accordance with the provisions of the section 551.125 or 551.127 of the Texas Government Code and have not been suspended by the code that have not been suspended by the order of the governor. The subject is to be discussed or considered is upon which any formal action may be taken on the listed below. Items do not have to be taken in the same order as shown in this meeting notice unless removed from the consent agenda. Items identified within the consent agenda will be acted on at one time. Roll call. I'm going to go ahead and mention the names of the board members. Please respond if you are present. Mr. J.J. Ibarra.
I'm here. Sorry.
Mr. Chris Morales.
Here.
Mr. Robert Peacock. Robert.
Bob, you're on mute.
Bobby, you there or not?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Mr. Tony Barco?
Here.
Mr. Robert Foster? And Mr. Rollie Lozano?
Here.
And Fernando Torres, I'm present. Location, let's go ahead and start. I'd say, Mr. Lozano, can you lead us in the pledge?
Yes. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Ms. Rocha, are you in the audience?
I don't see her, Nano.
Okay, then I'd ask for...
She is here.
Oh, she's here?
Yeah.
Ms. Rocha, would you lead us in a prayer?
Of course. Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, this beautiful day, we just thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving us an opportunity to live another beautiful day. And Heavenly Father, tonight we come as a family united with a great petition, Heavenly Father, that we ask that you spare our community, that you bless our Superintendent, Dr. Rivera, and our Board of Trustees. We just ask that you place a hedge of protection against this COVID-19. Heavenly Father, our parents, our students, our staff, our community. Heavenly Father, we just ask that you protect us. We claim your blessing and just keep us safe. And Heavenly Father, we ask all of this in your Son's beautiful and precious name, Jesus. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Rocha.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to number 3, comments from the public. Did anybody sign up for public comments?
No comments, sir.
Okay, then we're going to go ahead and go to item number 4, superintendent's report. Doctor?
Yes, Mr. President. I have 18 slides, and I sent this to you through an update. So let me start on page 2. At the last meeting, the board asked me to have some signs with COVID-19 guidelines. And so we have, because of the safety and health of our students and staff, and the parents are very important. So we want to ensure the safety and health. We place the signs at the entrances of all schools and departments. Goal is to practice and observe safe measures in containing the spread of coronavirus COVID-19. On page 3, you see a sign that we have in all the schools with the information that I mentioned. On page 4, just to report on the summer cafeteria meals for our students. They're in 2 phases. The first phase, we have summer meals from June 1st through June 25th for the boys and girls, hours 11 to 12:30, and they're at Juan Rodriguez in the Learning Center, 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Is funded by the Department of Agriculture. The second phase, B, summer program starts on July 13th to August the 21st. And again, it's for all the boys and girls under 18. The hours are the same. At Juan Middle School, Rodriguez in the Learning Center, 3 days a week, and also funded. So our kids have the meals for the entire summer. On page 5, wanted to report on our virtual summer school that ended today. On the average at all our schools at Santiago Garcia, we had 74 students, John Kennedy 59, Ruben Rodriguez 61, Lyndon Johnson 57, Ibarra Middle School 53, 190 at the high school, 117. And again, this was virtual. All the students were at their homes. They didn't come to school, and the teachers were at the campus. And on C, they taught from their classrooms. In elementary, one teacher for every grade. Secondary, one teacher per course subject. Chromebooks and hotspots were being used during this time. On G, very, very important. If schools do not reopen in August to in-person classes, for whatever reason, then instruction will continue by using the summer school format of teachers working from schools and all students at home involved in remote learning. We've ordered 3,000 new Chromebooks and hotspots, so we should be ready just in case we don't open up school in August. And then H, also very important, that staff development is focused on training all teachers to conduct virtual teaching. So we should be ready in August, should we not open up school, to be able to go with this summer school format. On page 5 is, it will begin the new year with some in-person classes and virtual teaching for students not returning to the classroom. More than likely, this is what's going to happen. We're going to have some parents not sending their kids to school, the virus, but some coming to school. So on A, teachers will be assigned to conduct in-person classes depending on enrollment for those kids who come to school. B, teachers will be assigned to virtual teaching home depending on enrollment for those students staying home. We're going to issue Chromebooks, hotspots. Right now, no one knows how many kids are coming to school in August and how many are staying home, but we're prepared either way. On C, we've done a complete shift, traditional classroom teaching to instructional technology. On D, for those kids coming to school, if we have some coming to school, because of social distancing, there will be fewer students per class, 16 to 1 instead of 22 to 1. E, lunch plates to be delivered to the classrooms to maintain social distancing, maintaining social distancing on the playground. On G, we're going to have to adjust the work schedule for custodians, security, transportation to be available throughout the day to keep our schools clean and safe. And for those coming to school, we'll have temperature checks conducted daily. Because of social distancing, there will be more bus routes with less students per bus, and we're going to sanitize them at the end of each route. Right now, we purchased some foggers to clean our schools, to clean the buses, also in athletics. So we're prepared to start school with no students, or we're prepared to start school with some students and some students staying home. TA is recommending a longer school year with more breaks in between. And right now the plan is for us to go ahead and start school with some kids, those that choose to come to school, and start school with those who do not want to come to school. So we're thoroughly prepared with this plan to begin the school year the last week of August. On page 7, the board asked me to go ahead and look at David Ibarra standalone Fine Arts Academy. So with the board approval and with a parent survey that's going out, the configuration for David Ibarra to be a middle school, grade 6, 7, 8, with community support would begin not this school year, but the following year. On tonight's agenda, we have our approval for a standalone school in August, but only for grade 6. Also on tonight's agenda, you got approval of the interim principal for David Ibarra Middle School. A parent-teacher administrative committee will be organized to begin planning on staffing, curriculum, student facilities. From the parent survey received, input will be received. And after the completion of David Ibarra Middle School, we had remaining $300,000. So this can be used only for David Ibarra's school, either with whatever is needed there or to upgrade the gym to comply with regulation. It'll be a board decision as to what we do with this money for David Ibarra. On page 8, we conducted a parent survey. We prepared a parent survey to receive input on beginning the school year, technology, and converting David Ibarra to grade 6, 7, 8. I gave the board a copy of this survey, and we have information that is coming in daily. The survey was in Spanish and English. It was placed on the district's website, social media, and hard copies provided for parents in Spanish and English, those not able to submit information electronically. On page 9, we have started the budget. The budget will be very difficult. It will be a challenging year because right now we do not know who's coming to school, who's staying home, who has left the district. But we based this budget for this past year was based on 4,376. Because of the hard work for all staff members, we were able to attain a higher ADA, 4,484 for the best 6 weeks. What this means is we had an increase of 108 students, and there will be a one-time payment, a plus of $600,000. So we're starting the budget already with $600,000 in case things are needed for different reasons. Also, I'm proud to say that on D, the budget had a decrease due to a reduction of staff and some reclassification of staff from local to state fund, to state comp. So we were able to reduce the budget by $2 million. Some of this money, again, is a plus $2 million. Some of this money will be used for right now to buy additional Chromebooks and things that are needed. Budget, again, we saved with the ADA $600,000. We reduced the budget by $2 million. Then the goal for this year, August 31st, is to have a healthy, balanced budget, not to go into the red. As far as the district, we're doing real good with the fund balance. We have almost $13 million, a healthy fund balance that we don't want to touch. That is only for emergency. We have at least 3 months, which is required by TA. So we've got a healthy fund balance right now. Now on page 10, if we set the budget again at 4,376, because we actually had 100 students more. So if we go back and set the same amount, the option number 1, you have 100 less students that we lose, but with that amount, you can still, based on property values and collection of taxes, if we started with 4,376 ADA, the total staff members can remain the same. We don't have to reduce staff. We can keep the same amount. But if it goes lower than this when the year starts, then we have to reduce staff. So this budget has a reduction, a plus. We already started with a plus of $400,000 because we paid off existing loans, the turf and the track, the Rio radios, the Jumbotron, Musco lighting. So we have now an additional to go into the budget of $400,000. We also have the one-time increase of $600,000 because of the ADA and because of the reduction of staff. Previous year, we're also at a plus $1 million. So right off, we're starting with about a $2 million surplus into this budget. And if we remain with this, it's already in the budget. So we can go ahead and give the $1,000 for the bonus in August and in December. It's already in the budget. It's not additional money that's needed. It's already in the budget. So We can give the $1,000, $500 in August, and $500 in December, or make that higher depending on the enrollment, because we have the monies that I mentioned we were able to save. TA though is recommending a 5% decrease on expenditures. TA is going to give us less monies than what we received this past school year. On page 11, we're also working, staff and I, on consultants. In July, I felt we had too many consultants. We were getting our teachers mixed up. So I met with the principals, the administrators, to get input on which consultants were needed and which were not needed. And right now, we've already reduced some consultants. So with this one, there will be a saving in next year's budget. On page 12, we did the same thing with software. We had too much software. We're getting teachers mixed up with the software. So again, I met with the principals and staff to review what was needed and what was not needed. We need to focus, teachers can focus now on using what is helpful and productive and not being confused about having too much software in their lessons. Also, since we reduced the software, there will be some savings in next year's budget. On page 13, the status of the playground equipment. We have the monies. On D, we have the monies from the excess monies from self-funded employment, workers' comp, and SHARS. So we have the money to be able to do this project. And right now, what we've done on A, we obtained 5 quotes from cooperative vendors. And on B, to make sure that we're able to compare the layouts. Special ed was involved in the reviewing of equipment for special needs. And then a committee, right now they're hearing presentations. So the board needs to direct me whether they want to continue with this project and get it approved in August or September, or the board would rather wait. So this is something the board, when it goes to the agenda, the board with an agenda item, you all will tell me if you want to continue or you want to wait, since right now we have this COVID-19. So again, the money is there to pay for it. And we can bring this to the board, but you'll have to tell me you want to wait or you want to go ahead and do it for the July or the August meeting.
Doc, real quick.
Yes.
Had we not already approved this, or had this not been on the previous agenda?
What happened at that meeting is that I believe you all tabled it. We had, at that time, we only had one quote. So we were told to come back and get different vendors to go ahead and bring this up for you all to vote. You have not approved the playground equipment yet. We discussed it. It was not approved.
Can we double check, Ms. Garza and yourself? Because it was my understanding that we had voted on going through a cooperative. I'm just, again, I might be wrong, but can y'all double check on that?
Yes, we will. And we went back to get more quotes. So we have 5 quotes from these cooperative vendors. Perfect. So we have 5 quotes instead of 1. Okay. And then, when I presented, you all just told us to go ahead and go back and seek these vendors. So right now we've got 5 quotes. So it's up, again, it'll be up to you all to tell me yes or no at the July board meeting or the August board meeting. It's your call. The money is there. And
I guess that was my confusion. I guess we just gave you the authority to go check with co-ops. Okay, no problem. Thank you, Doc.
Okay. On
Doc, real quick, are we going to be able to see the layouts?
Yes. Before we approve, we'll have a workshop and then let you all look at all the vendors and before a meeting to approve it. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
On page 14, this is the status of the maintenance project. We've been working real hard the whole summer. The HVAC at the gyms in Garcia and LBJ, they'll be ready in August. The labor work is being done by maintenance. We went ahead and purchased the equipment, but our department, maintenance, is doing the work. The chain link fence at David Ivara School by the east side has been completed, and the amount was $36,000. This was the time that you all gave me the authority to spend $500,000, the time that we had the shutdown. So the 36 is the one is already done, and this was a chain link. Now, C, the wrought-iron fence in front of Ibarra is on tonight's agenda for you to approve it. And what we've done on D, we repaired and upgraded the marquee at David Ibarra Middle School, and we should have this ready by August. We've added plexiglass shields in the cafeterias and the offices. We increased the number of sanitizing stations at all schools. We resurfaced the parking lot at RCR, and the cost was $16,000. That's done already. Maintenance has worked on fixing faucets, water fountains, painting district-wide. And then I resurfaced the stadium parking lot. That was a project you all gave me to pursue, and it's on tonight's agenda for the board approval. And then on J, we're looking at removing some of the old canopies, installing new ones at LBJ and Garcia. So the summer projects have been going on since June, and we feel comfortable that come August, September, we're going to be ready with these maintenance projects. On page 15, I'm happy to recognize the Teachers of the Year in elementary. You have Thelma on JFK, Isela Lanis, LBJ. On the next page, elementary continues, Mariana Martinez at JRG, Tabitha Trevino at SGE Elementary, and Mirta Huerta at RCR Elementary, the elementary teachers of the year. The secondary, Aaron Tanguma at El Calciosa High School, and Selena Silva at Junior High. On the last page, page 18, I'm happy to report that one of the ELSA graduates of 1998 was voted the best school teacher in the Valley by the town crier, Melissa Amaya. So this is my presentation, Mr. President. If you have any questions on any of the information that I submit.
Thank you, Doctor. Anybody have any questions for the doctor?
No, thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Doctor. Right now, we're going to go into item number 5. Presentation by Texas Guardian on SB 11 compliant mobile security applications. The presenter will be Mr. Roy Tejerina Jr.
Mr. President Torres, and thank you, school board members and Dr. Rivera, for giving us this opportunity for presentation. My name is J. Edgar Ruiz. I will assume minimal speaking. Roy Tejerina Jr. is with me, and he is the developer of many of the, all of the apps that we use for security in our company. I believe that you are watching a PowerPoint. I think that you don't see me. You can only hear my voice, but I can see you guys. It's good to see you. Again, thank you again for the opportunity, and I'm going to not follow the app completely. I mean the PowerPoint completely, so that we can have time for questions and answers if you do have any questions at the end of the small presentation. Texas Guardian is a mobile app development company that specializes in security and safety technology for the government's and private business use. We've developed over 100 different apps for different uses. As references, we have Mr. Javier Salinas, Hidalgo ISD Superintendent, Mr. Tony Lara, Superintendent of South Texas ISD. We also have the Catholic Basilica in San Juan, Mr. Pablo Velasquez, who uses our security application. So you can say that, and you can be rest assured that we are completely and properly blessed if our Catholic Basilica is using our app, okay? That's a minor joke. Over the last 3 years, we've been developing security application. However, in the last 12 months, because of Senate Bill 11, There has been many upgrades that we've had to use. Primarily in the last 5 months, we have almost totally redesigned our application to meet some of the demands of the CDC, requiring that governments assist in the prevention of transmission of COVID-19. I'd like to congratulate Dr. Rivera and all of you for the plans that you have to control the transmission of COVID-19. I think you're in the right direction. And even though higher governments have not given us the right directions or the right instructions or guidelines, I think that you're in the right track. I think that this app, not only in security, but also in COVID-19 transmission, can assist you in your effort to prevent a transmission. By downloading our app and with a push of a button by your staff can request a proper first responder needed: fire department, police department, ambulance, or school security. The app has a capability to spot automatically the location of the incident and/or injury and inform first responder. Simultaneously, it informs administration for their proper response, whether it be to send a message to all staff and our students, or the unfortunate issuation of a lockdown if necessary. The app works 24/7 for any outside or inside school activity. It works at any location, whether it be in the Elsa area or outside the area. Example, if your school bus leaves the Elsa area and breaks down, you can use the app to inform maintenance. The app instantly will locate where you broke down, whether you're in Corpus or McAllen or Brownsville or anywhere in the state of Texas, or the country for that matter. COVID-19, our security app has a capability to do fever checks and simultaneously make a record of the check for that individual that you are checking. If you have a fever, the app will automatically inform the nurse and can call the student's parent if you wish, or if a staff person has a fever, it will automatically inform the nurse and administration. Our latest innovation is a thermometer that attaches to a mobile phone with our security cap. It is a small wand that you not touch the forehead, but point to the forehead to get a more proper reading of a possible fever. We know the guidelines have not been totally defined, but realistically, you would like to test a student before he or she gets on the bus, before he or gets into your school, into your classroom, after lunch, etc., etc. To be able to mitigate and reduce the possibility of COVID-19 transmission, you need a mobile monitoring thermometer. You will be able to test and record a fever faster than any other method or product in the industry. Just as an example, and imagine, your bus driver tests a student and the student has a fever. You can't let the student on the bus, and you can't leave the student stranded on the side of the road. Our security app will immediately inform the parent guardian to pick up their child. It's fast, inexpensive, and efficient. This is what Texas Guardian can offer for you, your school district, and your administration. Any questions that you might have?
Judge, it's the Rollie Lozano here. First of all, thank you for the presentation, Judge. Nice seeing you again or hearing from you again.
Thank you, Rollie.
Quick question. Will this app allow for tracing, or is it just at this point is it just attempts?
It will spot an intruder or an accident or a gang violence.
I guess my question, Judge, is in terms of COVID. For example, let's say we do have a student that comes out positive. Is there any way to do some contact tracing through this app as far as kind of where they were, who they were around? Is that
in truth, we have a different app for that.
Oh, okay, all right.
We have a totally innovative different app. In actuality, we've presented to the county of Hidalgo for the health department, and they are reviewing our app at this point, but it would be totally different. So yes, we have the capability. Our security system would not. It would really tell you, he's got a fever, you've got to do something. Nurse, administration, bus drivers, teachers, someone has to do something, and the app makes you take action on this particular student.
Perfect. Okay. I mean, maybe in the future we could look on it maybe as an add-on.
Yes, and definitely so. If you have an interest in actually tracing a student to help the family, we have the app for that. Yes, sir.
Perfect. Well, again, Judge, thank you so much. Appreciate hearing from you.
Any other question you might have?
Yes, Mr. Horta, you said that Hidalgo and the Basilica. How about false readings? I know that's a big issue right now with testing and all. Well, if the child reads, I mean, it's not the child, it's the actual device. Is there, what's the percentage on?
No, our percentage is low. Without a doubt, I think that we're in the 92% in terms of a correct reading. But definitely, if a person tests high as a fever, you would test that person within the next hour 2 or 3 times by the same app or a different thermometer for checks and balances. So is it perfect, Mr. Morales? No. Is it close to perfect? Yes.
Okay.
What we see is, and I don't know how far, Dr. Rivera, this is going to go, obviously, but we envision that you're going to test everybody coming into your school for your own security, right? And I think that with this wand, and because this thing just connects to your cell phone, okay? It has to have the app. And it is the fastest way to get your student either in the bus or into the school or into your classroom, okay? And have a record of it. In other words, you're not gonna have to carry a tablet, say, hey, Mr. Flores has a fever. No, it will automatically record it and you will have it in your system.
But Mr. Horta, don't the students have to either or some type of barcode to identify them? I mean, unless you have face recognition on it or something, or how does that work?
We have both. We have face recognition and we have a barcode that could be used either or. It really is a serious management tool that can be used for your school districts, and it can be individualized by your administrators, your teachers, your security guards, your maintenance, and your students. As far as security, what we would see as the possibility is that everybody gets the app. So now, for security reasons, whether it be an accident or an active shooter, you've got 1,000 eyes in your school district, okay? And everybody can report it. It will have a checks and balance, and the administration has to make a decision as to what to do with the emergency account, but it's the fastest way to get first responders to your school district.
And with that face recognition, I'm just concerned because I have an iPhone and it has a face recognition to unlock, but when I wear my mask, it doesn't recognize me. So that would mean that our students would actually have to remove the face mask in order for the program to work. As far as
Rollie, can you help me on this question?
Sure. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm working out of my man cave, and Mr. Ruiz is in the other office. So basically, the facial recognition is only made for staff, because the reason why I did this is I have experience with my other businesses where there's people that really need to get to work, but they refuse to tell the truth about their proper temperature. So the facial recognition has to be used to activate the thermometer for staff only. For the students and others, it would just be an SQ code. So the gatekeepers is what I'm calling them, or the people in the front doors, they would physically scan the cell phone onto that individual's cell phone from one phone to another, and then tap the wand close to their forehead. And if it's got a high reading, it'll instantly send it to the designated point of interest. So going back to the students, they do not have facial recognition, no. The idea is to streamline the flow at 7:58 a.m. to get all these kids going in before the bell rings. And there's some intimidating pictures that I've seen. One of my sons goes to the high school here, where because they've already been through a lot of stress through the Senate Bill 11, which is a lot of homicidal, suicidal thoughts of these kids. When they have something pointed to their forehead, I'm afraid they might trigger something internally into their mental part. So I decided to make a little wand or something less intrusive and less harmful look, because we don't know how these kids are going to react when they get back to school.
Something that doesn't look like a gun.
Correct. So we're trying to make it simple, and it's like if you're going into an airport, you get your boarding pass ready to go, and have your app open. So the streamlining for the bus drivers is going to be really quick and simple too. But the scary part would be is if that child has a low fever, they just don't leave them. But this is instantly going to send the parent to come back, have, like Mr. Ruiz was saying, have a little bit of accountability and management in your end to justify why he was not taken into the bus. The accuracy on it, well, nothing is for sure. And I don't mean to sound rude, but the only for sure thing is a retinal thermometer, because everything else is just off of the heat of the body. Now, I've also dissected every thermometer that's out there, and I've also ordered one of these heat for the heat identifier. Mm-hmm. The only thing that's going to do is just going to locate the hot part of the body. So if you have a child that's been out there with a helmet, or you have a neck bandana, it's only going to notify or locate the heat of that body, but still, it won't send out any notifications to the designated person. And I think that's not a very useful or practical tool right now, because we need to streamline the children coming in. So, in my opinion, this would be very useful. It's going to be different. It's a different world. They're using a lot of this in other Pakistan, India. We've got some in the Philippines. This is not a product that was bought and I'm reselling it here. This is a product that I designed. We're making them here, and it's a pretty unique thing. We don't want no Bluetooth stuff right now. We don't want nothing. We just want something simple to work. Later on, we can advance to more stuff as far as Bluetooth technology, the wireless part, more facial recognition. But right now, we can't. We can do, but we can't advance to something yet because we don't know the full outcome of what the government might want. But I do know that we do want these kids to learn more than to spend more time trying to get them into the building. And I'm afraid that this might happen right now.
And right. Any other question?
If I may add, please. And I know you guys are it's Friday. The app itself, and I met Mr. Rivera some time ago, and I've matured more into this product. But we've added everything that has to do with the Senate Bill 11 for the mental health part. It's very important that now the students have these apps, because not only are we going to be able to identify who might be the potential person with the fever, but you're also going to be able to identify who's got the homicidal, suicidal thoughts to prevent something else from happening. So I heard someone mentioning that there's so many technology out there in different areas. And I basically bundle them all up into one. There's nothing like it in the world, the planet, period. And it's going to work. We need this for our kids. We really do. Thank you. Questions?
All right. Thank you, Judge. Thank you. Any questions for the presenters? All right, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to number 5B, presentation on GT online curriculum. Doctor?
Yes, we have Fred Borrego. He's supposed to be lined up to talk to us.
Mr. Borrego, are you present?
I saw him on here. I don't know where he went.
Mr. Borrego, are you present?
He just, for some reason, logged off.
Members of the board, can you hear me? This is Mrs. Ochoa.
Yes, Mrs. Ochoa.
Yes, I apologize. He is letting me know that he got kicked off. So while we're waiting, I just thank you, Dr. Rivera. Thank you, board members. The GT teachers have expeditiously been working on not only ensuring that we upgrade the type of learning and we meet the state guidelines for GT, but they have also been able to very quickly come up with how we can transition in the event that we do have to go online. And that is what the teachers have been working on, and that is what Mr. Borrego is going to be presenting to you. Our apologies, it looks like he's about to log in. Thank you for your time and your indulgence.
We can go ahead and get started. I don't know who was gonna share the presentation. Mr. Torres?
Okay. As far as the presentation, I'm not sure if there was somebody.
Mr. Ibarra, the presentation was going to be done by either Fred or Mr. Hurtado.
Okay.
So once he logs back on, I think that he'll be able to present it.
Okay.
We want to go ahead and go into consent items and then come back to this presentation?
If you would be so kind, please.
All right, I need a motion to jump into number 6.
We'll move.
Okay, motion made in second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Okay, we're going to go into...
Mr. President?
Yes.
Can you just recognize that I'm logged in?
All right, okay, you're in. All right, Mr. Robert Smallstreet is now back in. Ms. Garza? All right, number 6, consent agenda items. Doctor?
Yes, you have the items here. One, you will pull out.
Does anybody have anything they're gonna pull, or are we okay with everything? No? Nano?
No? All right, then I need a motion to accept and approve.
I'd like to make a motion. If that's the case, I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda items as presented.
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Barco. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Let's see here. Now let's go to, is Mr. Borrego online yet?
Doesn't look like it.
All right, let's continue then. Item number 7, discussion and action item. 8, discussion and possible action to change the July board meeting from Wednesday, July 15th to July 22nd. Doctor?
The reason is that we're shut down for 2 weeks for vacation from June 29th to July the 10th. So for this reason, the agenda cannot be ready at that time. We want to recommend the following Wednesday, July 22nd.
I move that we approve.
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Mr. Barco, second by Mr. Lozano. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 7B, Discussion and possible action to change David Ibarra Fine Arts Academy to be a standalone school instead of being part of the Carlos F. Turan STEM Academy. Doctor?
Yes, you had asked me to follow up on this, and we submitted an application to TA, and it was approved. So now for next year in August, it will be a standalone campus, but only grade 6.
So moved.
There's a motion by Mr. Lozano.
Second.
Second by Mr. Peacock. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Glad to see Ibarra back in the standalone school system. All right. C, discussion and action to select vendor for the installation of wrought iron fencing at the Ibarra Middle School. The proposals. Doctor?
Yes, you have the information beginning on page 170. On 170, we had a proposal from on 171, and the cost for the wrought iron, comparing apples to apples, was 44,570. On page 172, you have a second proposal from Zamora Construction for $52,995. And on the following page 153, you have Reno Construction from Edinburgh at $56,960. So the agenda item is you to approve these quotes, or to go ahead and ask us to go out there and secure proposals.
What do you recommend, Doc?
Can we go with the lowest one? So it can be ready by the time school starts?
Who was that? What company?
It's on page 171. We have the company's Democom from La Feria, and the cost, the materials and labor, 44,570.
That sounds good to me.
I'm sorry?
That sounds good to me. That's your recommendation.
Yes, that's my recommendation, to go with the lowest one, under 50,000.
And if there's no discussion, I'd like to make a motion off of that recommendation.
Second. Now you're on mute.
Sorry. There's a motion by Mr. Smaltry, second by Mr. Lozano. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion passes. All right.
Mr. Borrego's back on. I don't know if you want to jump on that now or you want to finish.
Yeah. Oh, let's go ahead and jump back to Mr. Borrego before he loses connection again. Mr. Borrego, are you available?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Okay, so basically how we don't know what the future entails for as far as the online and hybrid and all these, there's all these different things that are being thrown out there as far as what's going to happen for next school year. So what we did, Ms. Ibarra from the GT teacher from Santiago and Mr. Hurtado from RCR, is we got together and started discussing how we could do something in case we get totally thrown into the loop where we have to do everything online again, like we got thrown into this past school year. And so Ms. Ibarra and myself were taking master's classes from University of Texas Arlington, and they use a learning management system called Canvas. And so we're like, well, what if we could incorporate this into our kids, our DT students? And so we started looking into it, and then we saw that they offered a K through 12 kind of learning management system for schools, basically. And so we started looking into it, and Mr. Hurtado, can you show them? Are they seeing it?
Not yet. Let's see.
Okay. Okay, so this is pretty much what it would look like if when teachers and students kind of log in. There are a couple little differences that a student wouldn't be able to get, but this is what it would look like. And so I know that we've been using Google Classrooms recently, but this we feel is just so much better than Google Classroom. It offers a lot of little things. I don't know, Mr. Cloud, can you just log into one of them? So, for example, we started working on the different grade levels, and this would be like the first grade one. So you get like a little welcome screen, and I don't know if you can see on the left side, there's all these different little menus, announcements, assignments, discussion, grades, the people. I mean, there's syllabus. You can change. There's modules. So go ahead and click start, sir. So the students would log in, and they would have their units in order as far as like what you wanted the students to do. And so, I don't know, just click one, sir, just to show them real quick.
And Mr. Borrego, this is just for GT?
Well, I mean, we started implementing it for our kids in case, again, we have to go online. There can be something that the kids can follow already. I mean, it could be used at all grade levels. I mean,
Mr. Torres,
whoever wanted to use it.
what we did is we put this all, we were doing all our GT curriculum on here, but we're showing it to the board to show that this is something that we could possibly do district-wide. So we're using the free version, and as you can see, there's a lot of features on here that we can use for free. But, you know, we did contact Mr. Torres, and, you know, we showed this to Ms. Ochoa, and they were impressed with it. You know, it's very user-friendly. What we like about it also is that this is the learning management system that is being used at colleges, online classes. So when our students, even at the high school, well, especially at the high school, when they go on to college, they will be seeing something like this. So they will be able to transition seamlessly. There's quizzes, there's assignments, there's discussions. This is the way they are using it at the college level. So we were just thinking, you know what, since we're doing it for GT, we got excited. We're like, we like the program. We're like, let's show it to the board members and see if this is something that maybe can be adopted district-wide.
Ms. Ibarra or Mrs. Ochoa or Mr. Borrego, I don't know. Y'all are really, I mean, y'all are happy with it? I mean, I know you said you've been using it. Has it worked? I mean, is it something that you're kind of working through the kinks, or is it something that's kind of seamless?
No, we just, this is about a week and a half that we've been putting all our information in here, and it's very user-friendly. We are using currently Google Classrooms. Google Classrooms is it's also a learning management system. However, there is a lot of, it can get a little bit unorganized. I know the teachers lately have been using Class Dojo. Class Dojo does not offer anything like that this offers. We're able to do quizzes, we're able to, and right here, Mr. Borrego is gonna show you something like feedback that we can give on a quiz. And if y'all can just observe real quick.
Also, this platform, this learning platform, it kind of includes, you know how each campus uses Class Dojo or the Remind app, and they all use this all different, and Zoom. So we use all those different kinds of apps. This one has all of them already incorporated into one. So you wouldn't need, say, a Remind app, a Class Dojo app, a Zoom app. Everything would be self-contained within this program, this learning management system.
And also, yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Morales.
Oh.
I have a question.
Okay.
I think right now we're currently writing curriculum for the district that I work in, and one of the issues is how does this grade? In other words, how do you have anything that kind of corresponds? And as a teacher, you know, you can have assignments sent into you, but I'm thinking of, you know, if you're going to have to grade every entry manually. And the part that I'm a little concerned about is, does it sync with whatever basal or adoption that we have already in our district? Because all of our Texas, you know, adoptions, they gear to, you know, Dropbox, they gear to, I want to say, one of them is Google Classroom. So that that's pretty neat, because when you populate your classroom with your student information, everything ties into what we already have within our district. And that's really the main thing. We need to make sure that, only because it'll make.
Can you go back to where you can add the apps, Eric, real quick?
Well, in this one, like Mr. Morales, like we were saying, this one, if you see grades, if you do a quiz, it grades it for us.
Yes.
Also,
but what I'm saying is, we have our adoptions, and everything is already online. Let's say, for example,
so like if you see the screen right now, there's all these apps, and if you can see, this can all be put in there.
Okay.
So
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, like right now, I'm taking college courses, and we use Blackboard at South Texas College.
Yes.
And it has all the modules in there. We have our quizzes. We have our weekly assignments that we have to do. And the grade, the software tallies it all up for you. So that way the teacher isn't having to manually, unless it's a written assignment, then of course you have to read it and grade it. But if it's a quiz where you just multiple choice, it tallies it up for you, and you're able to get a final grade at the end. So I could see where you're saying that preparing the students, especially in high school, to have already practicing with these distance learning modules, it'll already prepare them, because it's really easy to get lost in all this information and all the little tabs. But once your eyes get familiar with it, you know where to go, you know the course content and what to click on. And I can see where this would work.
So,
Google Classroom and all that, I think it's very limited. I've seen Class Dojo, but it's very, you can't go take quizzes on there or anything like that. You have to print them out. These, you can create your own quiz on whatever curriculum you're talking about, and then the students take a test, and then grade will pop up, and it'll tally up a grade where they can even check their grades, how they're doing so far.
Right. And this is like Blackboard, but this is the latest, I guess, the latest one. Our school transitioned from Blackboard to
Blackboard's
Canvas.
a little outdated.
Yeah. So this is like the newer version of Blackboard, or, and, but everything that you said, this one does it too. And there's also like an app that you can download to a phone or an iPad and be able to use it from there. So
yeah, I have the Blackboard app on my phone and my iPad, and like when we do our weekly session, I'm able to watch, like if I'm on the road or if it's 5 o'clock and I'm driving home, I can listen in and listen to the professor talk about whatever the weekly assignment is through my phone.
Yeah, that's exactly like this.
I think this is great. I mean, Blackboard, yeah, I know it's outdated, but it's very user-friendly. It's very simple. But I can see here where you offer a lot of other things that you can do. You might get lost in it. It's going to take some time to train the kids so that their eyes can know where to look, and it'll be a lot faster for them. But the accessibility is there, and I think this is good. I think this is where we're going to start going in the future with these new world problems we're going through.
Yes. Mr. Hidalgo, can you go to the dashboard so they can see how this one's a little user-friendly, especially for the younger kids. This is why we like it, because you're able to go from 1 week. In 1 week, you're able to go from like lesson to lesson, and there's prerequisites, so they're not able to jump. Sir, can you go to first grade? That's the one that we're pretty much done with. And what we were thinking is, to tell you guys that this is what we're doing, and let's say the district were to adopt something like this, we would probably be the only district that has a learning management system like a college. So this would be very, very good. We're worried that some parents might get frustrated. We've heard, concerns and say like, well, we don't like that, all the lessons are being done through Class Dojo. There's, they don't like that sort of, I guess, way that they're being taught. But this way, if we are able to get our district to have like an online LMS, learning management system, this would be very, it would be very good for our district. It would look really, really good. Also,
Ms. Ibarra and Mr. Borrego, is there any way we can do a small case study? I mean, y'all can get some kids, get in contact with some of these parents and get some kids on board just to do a small case study to see how it works. with the kids interacting with y'all. I mean, just to, and maybe y'all can present your findings at the next board meeting. I mean, I'd like to see that.
Kind of like a pilot program, right, Rollie?
Yeah, like a case study. I mean, although I know, Mrs. Ibarra, you said right now you're using the free version, correct?
We're using the free version, yes. And I think Mr. Torres has a little bit more information because we were able to contact them and see what the cost is. Although right now this would be ideal to get it in the summer.
I think that's a good idea, Rollie, that then get back to us.
Just remember it's summer. All of our students are going to be.
No. I know, but right now, based on the situation we're in, I mean, how we're having a spike in some of this COVID stuff. A lot of these parents are staying home. I myself am one of them. So I think right now, I know what Chris is saying exactly. I mean, some of these parents, they're tired of the class dojo. I was one of them. But I think right now would be a good time to get a small group for a case study, since a lot of these parents aren't going anywhere. I mean, I myself just decided we're not moving for a while. I mean, especially because of the uptick in cases. So again, Ms. Ibarra and Mr. Borrego, I don't know if this is something y'all could do on the free version. Whether you can get a small case study going or not, or Mrs. Ochoa, I don't know who can answer that.
Yes, yes, Mr. Lozano, we will definitely work on that. And just as a follow-up, one of the things that makes this a very attractive product is the fact that you can have all the lessons in the same place. And because we've got students with different learning abilities and different learning styles, they can literally continuously go back to review the information. And
yes.
Unfortunately, Mr. Borrego ran out of time, but he deliberately failed the quiz. And then he was able, as a student, and then he was able to go back as the teacher, videotape himself. It's right there, videotape himself, and actually give the student feedback on what the areas of reteaching were, and actually be able to reteach to the student. So even though it is remote, it's very interactive, but definitely we will come back, we will get with them, we will engage students, and we will definitely provide you feedback.
Mrs. Ochoa, do we know what I know we've been talking about the free, that this is the free system. How much does it cost for the whole district?
Mr. Torres, can you please provide us that information?
Yes, absolutely. For every student that we have in the district, as well as every teacher on account, we're looking at approximately $40,000.
$40,000 for the entire school district. And how much do we spend on a fence right now?
Yeah, no, that's not bad at all. And that was going to be my next question.
That's actually really cheap.
How much is Google Classroom?
Free.
How much?
Yeah, but Google Classroom doesn't offer what this offers, Chris.
It does. On the working curriculum, we're doing all that.
Well, they don't have Google Classroom at the college level. When the kids graduate and they go to college,
it's the same format. It has the same format. You have Google Slides, you have Google Forms, all of these.
He's trying to say it's free.
I think with Google Classroom, all this stuff is possible. There's just a lot of extra steps that you have to take to get to this point when you can have everything pretty much within a few clicks away in this.
Well, especially for second graders, kindergartners.
Dr. Rivera and members of the board, we'll be happy to come back and bring you the results from a pilot. But I will say that this program, I have worked with Blackboard, I have worked with Google.
Yes.
And I can personally tell you that
because I put alcohol on the chip and I messed it up. I do it to clean, to disinfect it, and I think I messed it up.
Can you put on mute, Robert?
Let me try to, no, he's on mute.
So this provides the synergy that students, again, that have different learning abilities and learning styles, and it provides the teacher one platform, and it even has that app for Google. So if we want to implement it and keep it there, there's just an abundance of apps, and really it gives the teachers the autonomy to plan and engage students in an optimal manner, as well as providing teachers a synergetic way of getting it done, especially when you're limited in time and you've got diverse groups that you have to work with. So we will definitely come back with some results for you. And we would love if any of you would like, we can do a presentation for you personally as well, because these teachers have worked so hard in a minimal time, and they actually have most of the curriculum already in place to begin their actual classes next year for the gifted and talented program. So I want to thank them for doing that. And this was something that they proactively engaged on their own.
You know, this becomes an issue of uniformity. We can't have one elementary doing something and then go to another elementary and it's different. We all need to be on the same page, working on the same programs, working on the same curriculum. Everything has to be uniform. And I think this kind of brings everything together. Whether it be this system or another system, I mean, that still, you know, needs to be determined. But at the end of the day, it's about uniformity.
No, I agree 100%. Now, Ms. Ochoa, with that being said, can you run a pilot program or a test program on this free version, or are we going to have to purchase one unit, or how does this work?
Again, it's only $40,000, Mr. Lozano. We just spent quite a bit of money on a fencing project. And I
agree. I agree 100%. But what I'm saying is, because they're going to present next month, they're going to present their findings based on this pilot program. I'm asking, do we have to approve something right now so that they can purchase enough so that they can do the pilot program, or is the free version enough?
Well, we did the free version. We were going to do it for GT anyway. We were just going to utilize the free version. But when we started working on it, we saw how user-friendly it was. We got excited. We showed it to Ms. Ochoa. We showed it to Mr. Torres. Then we decided, you know, this would be something that maybe we could use for the whole district. We would be, like I said, we would be the first district to use something like this. We would have that where we can advertise that we are ready for online and distance learning.
If you were, Mr. Lozano, if you were to give direction, I know it's a presentation, there's really no decisions being made, but if there was a directive spearheaded by Dr. Rivera, of course, the cost for just the GT program would probably come in around $12,000.
Okay, perfect. That's what I was asking. That's all I had.
And Mr. I apologize, Mr. Lozano, to answer your question, yes, we can get a free pilot.
Perfect.
Yes, sir. With a small group of students, but yes, we can. For the purpose of being able to give you some feedback, yes, sir, we can.
Perfect. Well,
I have another question. I have another question. So when we get let's say we pay the $40,000, we get all access. Is it a reoccurring thing, or we get it? Is that we buy it and that's it?
Yes, sir. It is reoccurring. The only thing that we would save approximately about $9,000, which is the initial implementation and training that they provide. So instead of $40,000, we'd end up paying anywhere between $30 to $32 every year.
Every year.
And I would like to say,
we would need our staff trained.
Yeah, that's why if we get it sooner, then the staff could get trained. But I would also like to say, invite any board member who would also want to log in as a student. That way they can go in there and see the classes and see how user-friendly it is. And you could also compare it to Blackboard, Mr. Smallstreet, and what you think about it.
Yeah, that
you could
sounds
have
good.
your kids also, try it out.
I'm an online student right now, and I mean I do this all the time, and I'm used to the distance learning. But it would be great if I could get access. I can have my son John get on. He's a second grader going to third, and I could see it from that age point to see how it works.
And I have used Google Classrooms for years now, and I was trying real hard to get Google Classroom to do what this one is doing, to make it user friendly. In Google Classroom, you see everything in the stream, and that's where my students would get lost. In this one, you have it by unit per week. So that is one of the reasons why we felt like this was user friendly. But if you guys would like to, we can send you guys the codes, and then y'all can go in there and just, look at it. Yeah.
I don't think you need to go that far with me. I mean, as long as y'all are comfortable with it, and you say, Ms. Ochoa, Ms. Oreo, Ms. Ibarra, at the end of the day, if y'all are comfortable with it after the pilot is run here in these next couple of weeks, if y'all are comfortable with it, then I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know what it's like to be a teacher day in, day out. So again, if y'all are comfortable with it, our students are comfortable with it, and the parents are as well, I'm all for it.
The licenses, is there certain licenses to give, or is unlimited licenses?
They're limited. They're counted. And in the case of the GT program, I had requested for them to give me 2 quotes, one to cover the GT students and one to give the entire district. The less licenses you buy, the more counted the better.
So how many licenses are you getting?
Any more questions, gentlemen?
I think, anybody have any other additional questions?
Mr. Torres, Joe Torres, so the licenses, the GT was one, and then for the district-wide was another one. Was the district-wide the 40,000 one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the GT was how much?
I believe it was in neighborhood of 12, 5, 13, a little bit under 13,000.
We're not asking for it to be purchased for GT because we're using the free version, but we don't know what the paid version would entail. But I think it entails a lot of like training, and we just thought it would be good for the district. The board.
Definitely. We need a software like this, in my opinion, because this is where we're going. And once the kids can get trained and learn how to do this, it'll also allow the teachers to take on more students because it tallies up the grades for you. And you'd be able to manage a lot better, and you'd be able to read their assignments a lot better. And I like it. I mean, me as a student in a distance learning course, I like it. I think we need something like this.
Well, yeah, the world has changed. I think this is where we're headed from now on.
If there's not any more questions, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to presenting the outcome and the results of our pilot program at the July meeting.
Thank you guys for continuing to work. Thank y'all very much for being innovative and looking into new and other things for our district. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. All right, then we're going to go into the next item, returning to the discussion and action items. And that will be now D, discussion action to select vendor for paving project at the high school stadium parking / junior high gym area to seek proposals. Doctor?
Yes, on page 175, we received one quote. We asked the board, we just could not get them. So the agenda item is maybe the board wants to approve this quote or go ahead and authorize us to go out there and seek proposals. On page 175, the one quote was from Valley Stripping in Westlaco, and to do the stadium, the one quote we had was $48,900. The same company also on page 176, they gave us a separate quote. You had asked us to look also at the gym, the one gym, and that quote came out to $23,055. So the board has several options. You can select only one of these two, either do the stadium parking lot or do the gym, or go ahead and authorize us to go out there and get proposals. It's really your call to make on this.
Mr. Castillo, would this be a proper procurement or what are we looking at here?
Well, that's why I'm assuming Dr. Rivera gave you the option of just selecting one. One is the $50,000 mark, as opposed to both, because if we choose both, it'd be over where we need to bid it out. So if y'all want to get both projects done, my advice would be to bid it out.
Yeah, because you're talking about $73,000 for both.
Where does the football parking lot need it?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Rob.
I'm just a quick question. I know the Truan needs it, but does the football stadium need it?
On the home side, it's really bad, bro. It really is.
But
Yeah.
there are some drainage issues there. That's why it doesn't last, the asphalt.
Yeah.
Are the drainage issues being addressed here? Because then we're going to be looking at this 4 or 5 years down the road again.
No, it doesn't say anything about.
When was the last time?
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about drainage. It just all it does is basically resurface, cutting into potholes, recoating, and redrawing strips.
So then today, I guess, Mr. President, Mr. Rivera, today we can approve just the one, and then kind of sit on Ibarra, sit on the home side and kind of study it a little bit more? Is that what I'm hearing?
We have one quote for the gym at 23,000. We can do that one, and then go ahead and seek proposals to do the rest of it, including the drainage.
No, I say bid it all out. If we're gonna do it, bid it all out.
But if you want to do the drainage, this price is going to go sky high.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I honestly don't think this is high in my list of priorities. This doesn't rank up there.
No, it doesn't. It's mine either. But I mean, it's a good topic right now. I didn't even know we were going to talk about this.
And come back to it next month, because I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. That's my concern. We don't know where we're going to be in a month from now.
I'm okay. It was just that the board brought this as a project for me to look at. So it was a kind of a board asking me to look into this project. That's why it's on the agenda.
Well, it's because there's some major potholes over there by the gym. I mean, that's kind of where it started. So
beyond patching right now. I know we use
I'm actually close by. I'm gonna check it out.
But if it's gonna keep raining and the way it is, I mean, how it's gonna go back to what it is right now.
Okay, so the recommendation is to wait.
I would say wait.
Yeah, I think we got other fish to fry that are bigger than this.
So there's a motion by Mr. Ibarra to table at this time. I need a second.
Second.
All right, motion by Mr. Ibarra, second by Mr.
Can I ask this, Mr. President?
Yes.
Do we have to, Mr. Ben? Do we have to reject this quote, part of the agenda?
No, sir, because I mean they're just these are just quotes. There weren't formal requests for proposals or anything. So we're fine.
I'm okay.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor of tabling this item at this moment?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Now we go to 7E, and this is discussion and action to create a COVID-19 task force. Doctor, I asked that we put this here only to see if we could create a formal task force. With the COVID being as sensitive and detrimental as it is, I think it's time that we make an official group responsible for ensuring that the COVID process is being enforced at all schools and on all properties of the school district.
I'm good with this. Do you want a committee of school people, citizens? What kind of makeup on the committee?
I think we should have, my recommendation would be to have a mixed group between administrators, teachers, as well as some of the public, as well as outside assistance from maybe even the county as far as that goes.
I agree.
Yeah. I agree also. I would see, our principals, maybe even some teachers. I mean, it's not going to be, it's not number too big, maybe like teachers of the year or somebody this past year or somebody who could tell us how they would like the classrooms to be set up, how would they feel comfortable, and then let the parents see how they would feel if they'd be comfortable enough the way we set up these classrooms. And then of course our athletic director, so that way the sport, we need to tackle the sports side of this, of the COVID. Our transportation department, we need to make sure Martin and them are there, so that way that they're looking at that. Nutrition, we need to make sure we have social distancing when they're in line. The nutrition department or to get their lunches and distribution. So I think all department heads and
I would also say maybe locals as well. Yeah, locals like Dr. Ochoa. I think maybe reach out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to ask them, Mrs. Ochoa still on. I see her still here. I was wondering if Dr. Ochoa would be available to join the task force.
Yes, sir. I volunteer him. Thank you.
All right.
That's usually the way it works.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And let's reach out to the chiefs as well, the city police chiefs, and maybe the fire chiefs as well.
Hey, real quick, I'd like to see Mr. Ibarra, JJ as well. I know he's a city manager of Elsa, so he's been really involved with what's going on countywide. Maybe even including Mr. Virgil Gonzalez as well, being the mayor of Ed Couch. He's also been involved in some of these phone calls. These are, I think, some crucial people that we need to have on this committee.
Yeah, I agree. I think the local mayors, both mayors, are important for the district.
Yeah. The parents, I don't know, maybe we can have like a sign-up list. Maybe they can go to the website and sign up if they'd like to join or participate in these meetings. Instead of hand selecting, maybe anybody that just wants to join, and then from there, once we have a crop, then we could pick out. I mean, not to overdo it, but that way we can have some parents there that are very vocal in the community, and once they come up with a great idea, that they can spread the positive that's going to come out of this task force.
COVID Rob, are you available?
No, I am in quarantine. My wife's almost to deliver in 4 weeks, and I don't want to get in touch with anybody.
I'd say, Dr. Legna, as board members, we'll probably send you a few names and recommendations, and obviously yourself, you are, obviously at will to decide anybody else. So we'll make some recommendations to you, Doc, as well.
Okay.
Doc, try get a list of everybody, and I mean, parents are going to be very crucial, because they're going to be our voices out there in the community, knowing that they're putting their input in. That way they're comfortable enough to send their students or their children to school.
Will do.
It's okay. It's crazy times right now.
All right, Doctor. So then, I'll go ahead and make the formal motion that the doctor create this task force based on the recommendations of the group.
Second.
Okay, motion been made in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, now number 8, closed session. The superintendent requested the Board of Trustees convene a closed meeting as authorized by the provisions of the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. This executive session is in accordance with the Texas Government Code, Section 551.074, for the purpose of discussing personnel concerning appointment, employment, resignation, retirement, evaluation, reassignment. Discussion regarding naming permanent principal at Tryon Middle School. 2, discussion regarding name of the interim principal at Ibarra Middle School. 3, discussion regarding to extend interim superintendent contract. And B, consultation with legal for other items pending customary litigations. It is now 6:57. We are in executive session. Gentlemen, let's go ahead and switch over to the other call-in number. Okay, we're back from executive session. It is exactly 7:55 p.m. And we're going to go ahead and back and go into it's item 8 now. Pulling up my agenda here, sorry. Okay, we're back. So discussion, possible action. Okay, so number 1, discussion and action regarding naming of the permanent principal at Ruan Middle School. Doctor?
Yes, I'm recommending Alfredo Aguilar to be the permanent principal, but to stay on a probationary contract.
So moved.
All right, there's a motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Barco. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 2, discussion action regarding naming of interim principal at Ibarra Middle School. Doctor?
I'd like to name Monica Cass, recommend Monica Cass.
Second.
Monica Cass.
Yes, there's a motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Ibarra. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 3, discussion and possible action to extend the interim superintendent contract. Mr. Castillo?
Yes, Mr. Board President, members of the board, as of advice of council, please extend the superintendent's contract as discussed in closed session.
So moved.
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Barco. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations, Doctor.
Thank you, appreciate it. Can we do A, not A?
Discussion, yes, let's go back to A, discussion action regarding personnel, consider appointment, resignation, retirement, evaluation. Doctor?
You have the list before you, recommending approval?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Ibarra. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. See, B, discussion on litigations. Mr. Castillo?
No action, sir.
Okay, then we're going to go into adjournment.
Can I just say thank you for the contract? It's a strong board of 8. I've got a strong staff around me, and our goal is student success, and we're going to handle this COVID crisis in a professional manner. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank
All right,
you.
there was a motion on the table to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, guys.
Safe job.
Thank you, everybody. Mr.
guys have a safe night.
Torres, Rocha, and everybody. Thank y'all.
Good night.
Thank you, guys. Be safe, guys.
Be safe.